Okay, today we're going to be looking at creating value with color. So this is number 4 in our segment where we are looking to essentially go from something like this to something like this. We're going to be adding a lot more detail in here, and I'm going to try to break this up as best as possible. But essentially what you should see is several different layers. So we should have our original, like number 1 here, okay? We will have some highlights. So maybe that's number 2. We've got a mid-tone. So that's supposed to be a number 3. There we go. And then we have some shadows like here. So that'd be number 4. We can see it there as well. And we can see some shadows here too. So this is not only in the skin tone, but it's also, for me, going to be in my beard and potentially my eyebrows or my hair. So let's go ahead and get started with that. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our layer list that we have, and we're going to have to kind of navigate a little bit between these layers. So it's very important that we know what layers we're working on. I'm just going to bring these up here. You don't have to do this. This is just so that we can notate where all of our information is. And if you ever want to have this move back, you just grab the layer tab right here and place it right back in place. You can also, if you accidentally get rid of it, you can go up here to your window and you can bring down our layers right here. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to turn off this background that I made you create because we're actually going to use this photograph for just a minute. So I'm going to duplicate it. We can duplicate it by hitting Control J, Command J on a Mac, or we could grab this layer. So right here in this blank space, grab that layer, click and hold, and then bring it down to the new layer tab. And you can see we've got a brand new layer. Now, the reason that I'm going to do that is just in case I mess this layer up really bad, I've still got a reserve. So I'm going to turn my original image off just so I'm not confused. And I'm going to use this image in order to see some of the colors and the shading. So I'm going to go up here now that I'm clicked on my photograph. And just so we're not confused, I'll turn the outline off. You can see I'm clicked on the photograph. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some filters. So go into filter, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways we can get some of our color. Filter gallery, artistic, and I'm going to control minus or command minus on a Mac and zoom out. And we're looking for this one called cutout. Now, when we reach cutout, this isn't necessarily what I want. So I want to change some of the levelage here. So I'm going to bring that level down to where I start to see some of the highlights, but not too many. And I'm going to change that edge simplicity and bring it really high. So I start losing a lot of the detail here. Now, if you bring the edge fidelity up, you'll also see some changes. And that's actually looking fairly decent. We really want to keep it looking pretty basic. All right, so this is going to be my overall setting. I'm going to hit OK. We can see there's a big change between this and that, right? Really big change. But what this is doing is this is telling us where a lot of our colors are. And if I wanted to kind of map this, this is like 1, 2, yeah, actually, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then these would be our shadows, number 4 there. All right. So just like anytime I need to see what I'm doing, I'll bring that back up just for a reference on where I'm coloring. And there's going to be a lot of back and forth here because my original skin tone is a lot different. If you wanted to, it could behoove you to go ahead and pick out some skin tones. So we've got this one. This is our base color. And if I grab my brush and my eyedropper, I can get that color back. And let's actually do that. Let's grab, we've got this color tone back here again with the eyedropper. I think that'll bring us up to the right place. And then what we can do is turn our skin tone off and start mapping out where we want to go. So this skin tone will be kind of this general area, and then we'll go lighter from there and darker. And I'm also going to say that you can have some creative freedom. So if I were you, I would kind of think about blocking these things off. So, I'm going to start with my skin tone, and this will be an area. You can also see some of that color there. I'm going to pretend that that color is also here. Then we can see this is a region right here. We've got another region here. There's a region over there. So I'm kind of blocking these things up, and we're going to have some creative freedom, of course. And we're going to check back with our picture pretty frequently. You see, even before I've started thinking about, where are all my colors going to go? And from that's where we're going to start to see a lot of the progress. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to leave this like it is, and I'm going to create a color palette. I'm going to create the color palette on top of everything. So I'm going to click plus. I'm just going to call it colors. And the first one I'm going to make, I'm just grab my brush, and I'm just going to say, let's put that here in the middle, just like that. Now I'm going to go in, and I want something lighter. Don't really need to be that big. And whew, we're going to get super light there. Okay. Let's grab a sample, and we're going to go darker. So down for darker. That was pretty dark. Maybe not enough. Okay. And a shadow. Wonderful. All right, so we can see our colors here. This is our original. My janky star. And then we've got the coloring from there. Okay, so brightest to darkest. I didn't do anything to grab any of these colors that are on here because I really don't think that they are going to help me. All right. The only thing they're doing is kind of mapping out where all those colors are going to be. So let's go ahead and start coloring. Let's do the shadows first, and then we'll come back and do some of the highlights. So I'm looking at my skin here, and I'm going to do this mid-tone color right here, and I'm actually going to block that with this. I think they're going to be the same. So grab my eyedrop tool, and it's going to be this color right here. Grab my brush, and I'm going to put it on top of this skin tone. So this is my my middle ground. I'm just going to put a star next to it. And I'm going to put skin, let's say it's number 4. Brush. And I'm going to make sure I'm on this blank layer here. And I'm just going to brush it in. Nothing crazy, nothing that looks good at all. Okay, now let's talk about some cleanup. So I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to put my skin tone on there. And I'm going to start erasing. So I'm still on this top layer. And this is where your eraser becomes your really good friend. You can use smoothing with your eraser to erase out lines that you don't like. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some creative decisions here. All right, that's starting to look pretty good. So I'm going to turn my skin tones off again, and I'm going to go into the darkest shadow. Okay, so these areas right here. So I'm going to start a new layer, and for my sanity, I'm going to title it Skin 5. So this is going to be my darkest of dark shadows. And we can see here too, we've actually got some highlights and stuff on the lip area. So I'm probably going to end up using this color to make my lips, or I may even use that Skin 4. So let's go ahead and start coloring those. All right, totally looking freaky, right? Super crazy. But I think once we get some of these other colors on here to start looking really good. The other thing to think about is I still haven't done my beard, and I still haven't added any of these highlights. So let's go in and start adding some highlights. So I'm going to say Skin 2 here, and that's going to be this one. So let's go up here real quick, and I'll label these for you. All right, let's start putting on the next piece, which will be our absolute biggest highlights. And if you're wondering where this is going, see, we're starting to look pretty good here. Not too shabby. I can also see on this layer 2, I missed just a little bit. All right, now we're ready for the hair. So it can be the same kind of thing, or you can just essentially take a little bit of a look at your image. I know it's a lot of back and forth here, but think about the color that you already have. So I'm going to turn all of this on now, including that. And my recommendation would be to think about everything that you built so far, how your coloring looks. You don't necessarily need 5 different colors. You could do 3. But if I think about my colors and my hair and stuff here, I'm going to turn this one off and make a new one. And if we wanted to, let's do a new one, and this will be hair. So our first one, our primary color for me, that. I'm going to make a highlight out there. And that's as light as I want to go. So now I have my color references. This is where I started. Just give it a check. Title this 2, 1, 4. That way I kind of know. And find my hair. And I'm going to start again with the shadows. For this, lower your smoothing down quite a bit for your hair, and that'll give you a little bit more freedom. Kind of brush this in and make it look a little bit more interesting. You can also make your brush a little bit smaller, and that will help you out in regards to making things look a little bit more natural. So this should about do us for this segment. Next time we'll be working on our background. This is going to take quite a while to work. Make sure that you save as that PSD file. I don't know why I'm coming up with an error. But make sure you're saving as that PSD file, and make sure you are also getting that JPEG saved to me. So, oh, of course, okay, it's getting kind of big. Anyways, good luck, and let me know if you guys have questions.